Kalliope Driftwind opened her eyes to the morning song of Atlantic rollers on 17 April 1998 inside a weather-worn cedar cottage perched on stilts above Pamlico Sound, North Carolina. The tide had just turned, gulls were gossiping over a stranded blue crab, and her mother, a nomadic Afro bluegrass guitarist who stores pressed jasmine petals in her instrument case, strummed a slow-motion lull that made the window panes tremble. Her father, a barrier is-line cartographer who sketches cloud herons on coffee filters, leaned so close their freckles nearly touched and promised his brand new daughter that southern squalls, dockside rumors, and one Minnie Mackerfit's few size charts would always veer aside whenever she claimed every ounce of her silhouette. Car streamed with pride through the Driftwind family the way warm Gulf water meets the cold Labrador current, so no one panicked when baby Kalliope demolished a second muslin swaddle before the kettle even hissed. Granny Posey slipped a shrimp net needle through the torn seams, patched each gap with scraps of retired sail, and laughed that spare cloth cost pocket change while training a child to shrink cost her future horizons. Grade school quarters smelled of chalk dust, hush puppy crumbs, and salt mist sneaking under crooked casements. Kalliope already stretched half a head above her classmates, blocking the projector beam whenever she charted migratory flyways on the pulled-down map. One wind-whipped recess, two boys hop-skip circles around her chanting shrimp trawler each time her rubber boots thudded a chalk square. That evening she prowled the rack line for soda caps polished smooth by storm churn, threaded them onto fishing leaders, stitched the tinkling chain down her teal hoodie, and strode into class at sunrise, scattering rainbow freckles across the ceiling tiles. A substitute reading aide caught 8 shaky seconds on a prepaid flip phone, uploaded the shimmer to an infant video corner, and by lunchtime 15,000 strangers applauded the girl who alchemized mockery into beacon light. That night, Kalliope inked one sentence in lavender pen beside her fractions homework. Clouds crowd only until you flash them bright. Weekends belonged to Hatteras Harbor, where her mother's guitar fills braided with diesel coughs from charter boats, clam-shuck knives tapping shells, and gulls jockeying over bycatch. Floor-by jeans hesitated halfway over Kalliope's thighs, so she traded tip jar coins for sun-bleached gill net, unraveled it into rope, crocheted high-rise culottes, sprayed bottlenose silhouettes in squid ink, and posed at blood-orange sunset against rusted mooring posts while her cousin snapped grainy photos. Each image sailed into a fledgling diary called Sound Lantern during the very week a photo-sharing app flickered across patchy Barrier Island towers. The captions drifted between Outer Banks slang and candid English truths like curves anchor gale gusts better than seawalls. Before her 16th birthday, 51,000 invisible allies tapped hearts on every copper frame, proof bright screens, hush cafeteria, whispers faster than any hall monitor's hiss. A scholarship in sustainable mariculture swept her inland to North Carolina State. Days dissolved inside oyster reef labs, while nights belonged to a 24-hour beignet truck glowing neon guava under live oaks. The heat lamp became her lone soft box. Between praline orders, she filmed 90-second reels, folding parchment into sea rose barrettes while decoding dart rotations in half-surf hush, half-lecture spark. With one clip layered, Laughing Gall calls onto a lo-fi beat while she chain-stitched reflective crab pot line into thrift denim, and 48 hours later, the counter skimmed beyond 1.2 million. Tidewater-style blogs dubbed her the beignet couturier, yet every sponsor outreach froze at size 16. She funneled each pitch into an inbox labeled shrinking nets, wiped powdered sugar from her cuff, and poured another order. Early spring nor'easters delivered an email from Columbia Sportswear. They invited her to co-design a stormproof shell capsule named Breaker Pulse. She answered with 3 Lighthouse solid terms, patterns up to 60-inch hips, half the production crew hired from community college fashion programs, and 10% of net profit invested in living shoreline restoration down the entire Sounds chain. Columbia agreed before dawn stained the lab's skylight pink. Shoot day rose on a secret sandbar where skates traced lazy S-curves beneath jade water. Kalliope coached Curvy kiteboarders slicing glassy chop, while a drone carved silver figure 8s overhead. When the lookbook launched, every extended size jacket disappeared in 41 hours across 28 countries. Sound Lantern vaulted beyond 700,000 guiding lights. Still dusted with cinnamon sugar breath, she leaned her phone against a syrup canister behind the fryer and live streamed teary gratitude beneath buzzing fluorescence. Pause for our first show on the line. Favor, if this tide is already tugging at your ribcage, tap subscribe right now. One tiny click secures your rail space, so next week's voyage finds your feed long before algorithm winds can change. Spotlight shimmer, as always, drew rumor goals. A clickbait vlog insisted Kalliope cinched steel plates round her waist inside those Columbia coats. At sunrise, she paddled a cedar board past seagrass ribbons, stood firm in sports bra and linen shorts, outlined each stretch line with crushed bougainvillea, and shredded a guitar riff so raw the Pelicans banked. 10 million viewers reposted the jam tagged bougainvillea, proof, rushing pink dust along their own curves until gossip drifted to the bottom like sea glass. Kanye wages twined with capsule royalties and whipped into driftwind butter, a custard swirling tuple blossom fat, key lime oil, and mica sparks that glow pearl under foam flash. 19,000 tens cooled on her father's chart desk, lids tied with braided trawling line, each tag stamped moisturize your horizon. Inventory drained in 82 minutes, netting $187,000. 20% seated beacon grants, shipping, industrial surgers, and hydrophones to plus-size teens in shoreline schools from Cape Lookout to Currituck. 8 months later, 36 grantees staged a floating fashion and dolphin song parade aboard a retro shrimp scow wrapped in LED marshgrass ribbons, streaming live to dawn desk from Nairobi to Nuremberg. Charleston Fashion Week minted new dockside legend. 90 seconds before runway, her emerald mesh gown snagged on a camera dolly, opening a spiral gash from hip to hem. Kalliope yanked neon dock rope from a lighting rig, threaded it through the tear like boot hooks, and stepped onto the catwalk as if that splice had been in the pattern since sketch 1. Camera shutters cracked like breaking shells. Vogue Low Country christened the moment real cadence, and another million sound lantern navigators lit up the map before the after party's first trumpet chord. Storm chatter circled back when a sacked handler leaked trimmed emails suggesting she demanded lobster mac and cheese towers and chauffeured hydrofoil rides for her rescue Pelican starboard. Kalliope uploaded the entire chain, revealing only refillable water urns, lentil stew for crew, and caption tablets for deaf stylists. That month's affiliate wave, $136,000, rolled straight into biodegradable crab trap pilots along Core Sound. Fans echoed her peer mantra, receipts glow brighter than rumor grit, until whispers melted like midday haze. By midsummer metrics, shimmer teal. 6.9 million Instagram companions, 3.4 million real voyagers, and 2 million steadfast channel subscribers. Engagement hovering near 10% and dropping brand exec jaws. Cartier invited her to headline a topaz surge vignette inside the Century lens of Cape Hatteras Lighthouse. She nodded at once. Cartier funded therapy stipends for oyster boat crews battered by last season's hurricanes. The finished clip, her wrist scattering amber shards across iron ribs, stands as Cartier's most saved post this quarter. Emily studies her keel. Twice each month, she streams Porcelain Groove. Mom shreds funky breakdowns beside a propane skillet. Dad reads cloud haiku, and Kalliope upcycles thrift denim under fairy bulbs. One broadcast hit 9 million when Starboard waddled through, powdered sugar flapped, and sneezed glitter onto the lens. A Seabird Refuge now sponsors every episode, tagging rehabilitated pelicans with solar beacons financed by Driftwind Butter. But her revenue sailed past 12 million before its second equinox. She leased an idle crab sorting shed, carved skylights through corrugated tin, and hired furloughed deckhands, plus design grads to whip custard and knot lids by hand during midday dance breaks to Guitar House loops. The consultant begged for shrink bands. She repeated her mother's creed. Fingertips hold legends long after robots forget, and rope ties stayed. Her feed breathes frank mind weather. Basalt Bluff portraits sit beside beignet truck selfies captioned same sky, different current. She shares breath loops recorded in sea caves, printable resilience worksheets in English and Lumbee, and sliding scale counseling links. 128,000 followers cite her shoreline honesty as their first calm harbor. Community rides glow under crushed shell paint. Hundreds pedal the dust causeway wearing driftwind, butter on shoulders, and LED sand spare tassels on spokes. Ticket sales fatten beacon grants and fun wheelchair snorkel lift at Saltmarsh Coves. Chowder stands fry late. Clam bowls surge 15% on ride nights. Kalliope rolls at the helm on a vintage cruiser, starboard clutch strapped to her basket, pausing to retie any rider's sagging leg. She is polishing a memoir titled Currents Keep Names for spring release in 11 languages, while a documentary crew traces her plan to refit retired Thai boys into floating maker hubs for the scattered island schools. Puma's wide-to-wave lantern sneaker lands next quarter, threaded with reflective rope and cushioned by algae foam, steering 10% of revenue into beacon seedlings ringing the Atlantic rim. Now let me pitch our second open channel reminder. If your subscribe badge still glows bright red, turn it gentle gray today. That single touch ensures next week's swell flows straight into your notifications before algorithm tides can swerve. As this playback winds down, you will find 4 helpful treasures in the description. First, fresh Driftwind butter jars. Second, the express link for Beacon Grant entry. Third, tonight's Porchline Groove playlist. And finally, a quiet compass, a research-backed bundle of conversation sparks and cool confidence rituals that mark the surest route to genuine love and the most dependable method to inspire irresistible fascination in any woman you meet. It is free, unlocked, and waiting. If the soda cap, spine glare, rope cadence gowned rescue, or starboard glitter sneeze painted even half a smile across your face, smash the like heart, drop your brightest ripple in the comments, and share this voyage with a friend whose sails hang slack. Remember, every curve redirects currents, every scar refracts moonlight, and the Atlantic bows to anyone brave enough to plant 2 firm feet on the pier and greet tomorrow eyes wide. We are drifting toward the docks, friend, so here comes a final gentle whisper. Subscribe right now, claim your rail, stroll to that love link in the description, and meet me on the next rising tide when another story flickers beyond the breakers and courage calls your name all over again.